There are more Fast and Furious games. In fact, two more. And as we're going backwards in the timeline, today we're going to be looking at Fast and Furious Showdown. Can we start by talking about how the game is called Showdown? It's the same name as the third game that came out the year before. I guess Showdown was just a marketable word at the time for racing games. No matter though, this game came out in the beginning of 2013, just before the release of the Fast and Furious 6, so it's much more of a tie-in movie game than Crossroads. The story is very loose. We have these two female characters going through files of events in the Fast and Furious world, and that is the excuse to just have the story jump around from setting. And honestly, I enjoy this premise because it keeps it from needing a convoluted storyline and just have a sort of best moments type of thing. Although there is a weird absence of Vin Diesel's character, Don Toretto, which is extra noticeable when everyone else is here. Maybe he opted out of it when he saw the graphics were worse than his 2009 game, The Wheelman. Yep, I'm talking about the graphics. Infamously panned for its graphics back in the day, the game looks like a PS2 game, and not a particularly nice looking PS2 either. The best way to explain it would be to say everything looks very flat. The lighting, the textures, everything is just at a passable level. Where you could say that the game has those things, I guess. For a little bit of perspective, this game came out the same year as the PS4 and Xbox One consoles, and also GTA 5 and The Last of Us. And when this came out at full price, these graphics were extra offensive. But now in 2020, where I don't think that these graphics matter much anymore, they didn't really bother me much. I was having fun, at least for the first couple of hours of gameplay. The game has a strong beginning. You start with the flipping cars thingy that was being heavily advertised at the time for the upcoming movie, and right after that we have the safe dragging scene from Fast 5 that is weirdly well made. The environment is very destructible and the safe doesn't get stuck on things, which I was really afraid was going to happen during the gameplay, but it actually didn't. But then the game slows down. The game has a big focus on co-op, and most missions will revolve around one character driving while the other shoots. The driving is very arcadey. It's a bit heavier than other arcadey titles, but it's no Driver San Francisco. Overall, it's fun, but not particularly great. The shooting falls under passable. There is this one gun that can send cars flying off, and that's cool. But normal guns have no real feeling of recoil or even impact. Life bars just kinda go down, and that's disappointing, because if you're playing this as a single player game, you'll be doing a lot of shooting, because the NPCs can't really shoot for much, but they can drive just fine. Not particularly fast though. Thankfully, the game lets you trade between characters on the fly, which is very helpful here for the solo experience. Unlike in the sequel Crossroads, where it felt like it was tacked on, here it's an actual solution to turn a co-op game playable by yourself. But it's not flawless. Some missions have you doing some more complicated actions, like slinging a harpoon on some cell towers, and you have to pull them down, but trying to do so while the AI keeps trying to drive and you just want the car stopped for a second can be a real pain. Thankfully, this is a problem that only happens a couple of times. Also, not so much related to the co-op element, there is this one racing mission I just could not win for some reason. And then I switched the cars because there's always two cars to choose from given that this is a co-op game. and then I just beat it in the first try. So that's an odd feature that one of the cars is just too slow to win the race, I think. Just something I thought I should point out. Also, as the game goes on and the AI becomes more aggressive, the experience of playing solo becomes more apparent that this is not the way it was meant to be played, mostly because how bad the partner AI is. Finally, the soundtrack. The reason why this movie is probably delisted, that and the car licenses. Well, it sounds like a Fast and Furious movie. If you've seen any of the movies past the fourth one, you probably know what this sounds like. A lot of Brazilian movie and generic pop music. It goes with the game, but nothing special. Overall, I found myself enjoying this much more than Crossroads, and I think I would have enjoyed it even more had I played it in co-op. You even get to hijack a truck in a very classic Fast and Furious fashion, and you have a lot more control than you do in the sequel Crossroads, which I think is one of the reasons I enjoy this game a lot more. While it's not as over the top as the game that came after it, it just feels more consistent overall, and there isn't so much story forced on me, which I think definitely helps the pacing of the game. It's more brainless fun, and I appreciate that in a Fast and Furious game. Now, should you play it, the first thing to address is availability. On PC, pretty much your only option is piracy, since the game has been delisted from stores. So if you're okay with that, it's not like the studios or publishers who made the game are giving you much of a choice. On consoles, used copies of this game go for pretty cheap. It isn't particularly sought out game, despite the brand association, so it's pretty cheap on used game stores, and the prices on eBay seem fine at just around $10, as of the making of this video, of course. Also, if you intend on playing co-op, one copy is enough and your only option, since this game only has split screen co-op, no online co-op. So if you're looking for a dumb, fun experience of a game and you enjoy Fast and Furious, then this is an alright one, as long as the graphics don't bother you, and preferably if you have someone to play it with, that would make it a lot more fun, if only to make fun of how dumb some of it is. And that has been my review of Fast and Furious Showdown. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe because it's hard to be found on YouTube. It's kind of a saturated market, I know, but I like doing these videos, so I'm doing them. And it would be nice to get views, just saying. But that's okay. Thank you regardless. Thank you for being here. Please comment and like. That would be appreciated. So, have a nice day. I'm still stuck at home, sick, but I'm getting better and my head doesn't hurt like crazy anymore. So, it's gonna be easier to write scripts now. Mumble, goodbye.